Schoology groups are wonderful places for teachers to share resources, and the Jeffco Course Masters group is no exception. Every teacher in Jeffco belongs to this group, and inside the group's resources you'll find the lessons and full curriculum used by the Virtual Academy and the credit recovery courses used by a variety of other schools as well. To import this content, first you need a place to put it. If you already have a course shell that has been created for you by Infinite Campus, you can go ahead and use that. I'm going to make a new empty course shell to import the English 7 curriculum into from the Course Masters group. If you want to create a blank course, just choose Courses, Create, and then fill in the required information. My course is going to be organized by trimesters, so I'm going to use the Control-F shortcut on my keyboard to bring up a search bar where I can search for those generic trimester dates. T1 is my search for trimester 1, T2 is my search for trimester 2, and so on. If you want your course to be year-long, you can also choose a generic year-long grading period. But I want to be able to start my grades over essentially at the trimester changes, so I'm going to go with this model. And for any of you on semesters, if your student roster changes at semesters, I recommend setting up completely separate courses for semester 1 and semester 2 instead of attaching both of those grading periods, because your enrollments are not going to be the same. So it makes a little bit more sense just to start with 2 separate courses instead of having one that goes the whole year. In my situation, I'm going to have the same kids all year in the same classes, so I just need 3 different grading periods. And each of the assignments that I'm going to import or create later is going to be connected to the appropriate grading period. Whether you decide to create a new course or you're using an existing one from campus, you should set up your gradebook before you import your content. To do this, you go to the gradebook and then grade setup. You need to create at least one gradebook category. I'm going to create 3: discussions, tests and quizzes, and assignments. I'm also going to return to my course homepage and hide the materials index because I think this area is confusing for kids, and I plan to organize my content into folders by topic instead of these separate listings by assignment type that must only be alphabetical. Okay, so now I am ready to import my content. Use that Add Materials button and choose Import from Resources. In the left menu, tell Schoology to pull up the groups you are a member of and scan the resulting list for Jeffco Course Masters. Drill down into the appropriate folder until you find the class you are looking for. If I want the entire English 7 curriculum, I just put a check mark in this box. But if I just want the first few units, I can drill further into the folder to select items unit by unit or even lesson by lesson. A quick tip though, folders can be renamed and moved easily later, but when you are importing, consider how these folders will look to others. If I import from this view, my course will have a list of all of these separate folders on my homepage. Of course, I can hide the ones I don't want students to see or access just yet. But in contrast, if I import from this top level view, the first thing my students will see is a folder called English 7 LA New Master, and then they will need to click into that folder to find the actual units. To eliminate that extra click, I'm actually going to import from the separate folder view and choose all of the unit folders. It's really not a big deal, just one extra click, but my students will appreciate not having to do that click over and over throughout the year. Once you have selected the content you want to import, choose that blue Import button, and then click the other blue Import button to confirm. I have chosen to import a lot of content, so this can take several minutes, and I'm going to pause the video. Once my content folders are in, I just need to tag all of the assignments to the correct gradebook categories and grading periods. This can take a while to do for a whole year's worth of assignments, tests, and quizzes. So here's one way to edit several assignments at one time. Go to your gradebook. Notice that no assignments are showing, even though I just pulled in a whole year's worth of curriculum. This is because assignments only show in this part of the gradebook if you've tagged them to a gradebook category and a gradebook period. So if you're ever missing something in your gradebook view, chances are you just need to add a category or a grading period to it. To see every graded item in your class, just use the Options button and select Bulk Edit. This brings up a list of all of my assignments, and I can easily assign a category and a grading period right here. That's pretty easy for all of the assignments I can tell are obviously in Unit 1. Those will be assigned to Trimester 1, and the icon next to each of those indicates if it's a quiz, assignment, or discussion. I can also quickly assign due dates here, but I'm not certain of my due dates just yet, so I'm going to skip that step. I can quickly adjust multiple assignment categories and grading periods right here, but for those I don't know yet, I'll probably just adjust them as I teach this class. Let me save these changes and I'll go to the first session in Unit 1 to show you what I mean. Notice that after I click Save, I can easily see now which assignments are in Trimester 1 for my grading period and which still don't have a grading period assigned. I'll click on my course's name in the top left to quickly get back to my home page. And now when I click on my gradebook, I can see all of those Trimester 1 assignments listed that I just tagged grading categories and periods to. Now let me go back into my units and I'll go into Unit 1, Session 1, so I can show you how to make changes assignment by assignment. In this list view, I can see an outline of all the materials in Unit 1, Session 1, and to edit any of these individually, I just use the gear icon next to each and choose Edit. This quiz was already edited in the bulk edit view and has its gradebook category assigned, but I can add my due date easily here as well. Something unique to quizzes that you need to know is that all quizzes default to being unavailable to students until you activate them. This is one of those test security things. So to do that, you actually need to click on the name of the quiz itself, not its gear icon. You go to its Settings tab and you make it either available right now, or you can set a date range for students to access and take the quiz. Make sure to save your changes when you're done. Now let me click on the name of my Session 1 folder to get back to the list view. For something like this discussion that I did not adjust in bulk edit, I can edit it here. First, I'll put a check in the Enable Grading box, set the due date, enter the points, then I'll choose my grading category, and then I need to click on that Grading Options link to be able to tag this assignment to Trimester 1. When you're done, click Save. So I can go week by week to adjust due dates, points, categories, and such, or I can do that in the bulk edit view. Either way, having to adjust these preferences to align with my grading expectations is a breeze, considering that all of the actual content has been created for me. If I don't want to use any of the content I've imported, I can use the gear to delete any item, or I can even delete an entire folder. And finally, remember that you can use that gear by any folder to hide its visibility from your students. So there is no need to set up the entire year in a day. Just adjust what students will need access to right away and hide the rest to work on as you go. There is definitely some setup that you need to take care of when you pull in an entire course from Jeffco Course Masters. And remember that you can use as little or as much of that material as you like. You can edit any of the existing items that you pull in, and you can add in assignments of your own to supplement what you import. But having this wealth of lesson plans at your fingertips is a great starting point and a huge time saver.